Sometimes there's valid criticism about black culture that I'll entertain. But then the frequency and the vitriol that comes out when they speak about it, you start to feel like there's something else going on underneath it all. And then when it comes to people like Myron, even though you can never point to it directly, because it's rare that it's this overt. So you can't really point it out, right? Everyone tells you, no, it's not there, it's not there. Even though you have a feeling, you know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why there would need to be a feeling. This is a person of North Sudanese ancestry, um, has slipped in some cases and implied they weren't even a black person. Um, I just don't understand. Like, you should already know kind of what kind of mentality this individual has. You know, I mean, let's be honest, like the past video I showed, if you know anything about the country he came from, they specifically just got out of a war where they exterminate black Africans. And specifically, the people doing the exterminations were of his background, his phenotype, and so forth. They don't identify as black people. And you could say maybe he's an exception. Maybe he came to America and he understood that people saw him as black and he decided to embrace being black. That's not the case, because you hear much of the time in many of the videos him talking about being Arab descent. He hardly mentions anything about being black, and when he does mention it, he usually mentions it from a perspective of others see me as black, not as others. I mean, he sees himself as black. You know what I mean? That's what I hear. It's like others see him as black. That's what he's trying to say, basically. So it's kind of like, I think people perceive that as meaning he saw himself as black. But I don't think that's what it is. I think he may use being black to his advantage, but I don't think he actually feels he is actually a black person. And that could also have to do with how he's treated. I don't think specifically that he would be treated like a black person specifically. I think sometimes people would say he's black, but much of the time, I don't think people would perceive him as black. And on this video itself, specifically, some white people have actually commented in the comments saying that he doesn't look black. And one person particularly said, "Do you think that white people think Indians are black?" Which I found to be a funny comment. Anyway, continue.
You have no, but now you have it in full in front of you. This guy is considered the leader of the red pill, and you're seeing how this disseminates to a lot of his followers. That kind of hatred that he has for black people is instilled in a lot of the things that he actually preaches.
Fresh and funky cannot stop farting it up. And you know me, I'm petty, so I'm going to cover it. But oh yeah, stop the show. You see, there are a lot of you crybabies from the fresh and funky fan base that keep coming over to my comments saying, sad music, oh shit.
So, first off, I didn't really feel that specifically everything that was said in the past two videos was racist specifically. Not to me, at least. I mean, the two videos by Fresh and Fit and the one on Rumble. To me, one seemed like a parody. And then the other one seemed like, people making fun of people, but it doesn't have to be specifically racist, to me at least. I mean, like, I've seen other cases of black people making fun of other black people and saying things like that. Nobody ever calls them racist. So then to me, I'm like, why are you all of a sudden saying it for these people particularly, when you see plenty of times black people will say stuff like this? I think it's more so a basis of, oh, you don't really feel he's black, so that's why you're offended. Because if he was another black person who was literally saying this, I don't think you would have had that much issue. I think some black people have a thing where they don't want to admit someone is not black, but really in their heart of hearts, they don't really feel the person is black. So then they won't behave the same way as if, say, Fresh were to say those things that they're complaining about, you know. Anyway, continue.
You're jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Stop hating on my
Okay,
daddies.
fair enough.
I love it when they slap my booty from the back. Huh? Please stop. Stop. Stop talking about my daddy, Myron. Stop talking about my daddy, Fresh. Those are my daddies. I want to have their babies. This is how bad you idiots sound. When these guys are just doing the wrong thing, but hey, that's what fangirls do. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe. Rewind, Nemo.
No, I'm not a fan of Fresh and Fit. My thing is, I just don't, well, from what I saw, I just don't see it as racist, what I saw on Rumble. Everybody there was specifically a person of color. I know they tried to say one person was white, and I found this really weird because, I mean, like, you can look up their ethnicity. They say specifically that they're half black. So it appears that everyone there was a black person. Everyone in both videos that people have been complaining about were black people. Like, the last video, I mean, Fresh wasn't there. I didn't see Fresh there. But other than that, everybody was black or had black in them. So, I don't know. To me, I don't see why you would be saying that people are being racist when they were making jokes about each other, calling each other the N-word in that Rumble video, and so forth. So they were making jokes about everybody. It wasn't just about Abba and Preach, you know, if you were really paying attention to the video. My thing is, you know, like I said, I'm not a fan of them. I haven't watched. I watched a clip of one of the people there, and I actually liked what he had to say. But that was a side note. It had to do with some issues that I would agree on, many that had to do with like conservative issues. But anyway, continue.
So as you know, we're in the middle of another beef. Abba and Preach versus Fresh and Fit. And of course,
Oh, by the way, I support, like, you guys can see I'm subscribed to O'Shea, but I'm also subscribed to Abba and Preach as well. I am not subscribed to Fresh and Fit.
I've already talked about how, Fresh and Fit have called Abba and most notably Preach monkeys, which is very interesting because Fit, well, who is Myron, is actually Arabic black. He's from Sudan. And you have this other guy.
It's a common occurrence for certain people of like more of the northern portions of Africa to sometimes have that view of black people, but the way that it was perceived on Rumble, I don't feel like on Rumble they were specifically trying to say that Preach was the only N-word, because everyone was called the N-word. As far as an ape, yes, he was called an ape. But he actually clarified that in the first video, he was actually just calling him retarded or whatever. And then he said that after watching Donkey Kong or whatever, that he looked like he was also an ape. That's what he said. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, to me, I did find it really interesting that the word that was describing Abba was specifically sand N-word, but Preach got the full N-word, It was kind of interesting. And it's like, oh, so do you see how, people like that do see things a little differently, it seems. It seems Myron does seem to see himself differently than, I guess, West Africans or whatever. To the point where, he's making a distinction, calling an East African the sand N-word, but the other one an N-word, full N-word. To me, it kind of implies that he does see a difference, which, Black Americans, we usually don't make a distinction, so that is an interesting distinction he made there, and to me, I kind of feel like that kind of extrapolates to how he sees himself. You could see this in another clip. I'm going to show it, where he accidentally kind of refers to himself as if he's not a black person, basically. Anyway, continue.
Fresh, who stop the show. He probably is really funky in real life. I mean, he just looked like his breath stank. Even his text messages probably smell bad. Yeah, and it's interesting because this guy is just as black as me, and he's calling somebody a monkey, which he has very similar lineage to Preach, right? They're both.
He wasn't on the last video though. He was only on the first one. And I don't know, to me, the first one did not seem specifically racist, but okay. I honestly don't get it though. Why do people always add Fresh in this? You point out clips that Fit says things, and then you'll say that Fresh said it. But I never see Fresh say anything. All the negative stuff, the negative clips I've seen, generally were made by Myron, not Fresh. Could someone bring out some bad clips of Fresh? Be nice. It's almost like Myron is his representative. Does he speak? I don't know. I just thought.
Have West African lineage, and he's calling this guy a monkey. But I digress. There's this thing called Rumble, all right? And a lot of people who have been booted off of YouTube go to Rumble. Some of them are still over there. And pretty much on Rumble, you can do a lot of outlandish shit over there that you can't do onto YouTube. And see, when platforms are like that, you pretty much feel like you can go over there and do something. And as long as you don't do it on YouTube, you won't get canceled. Well, this is what Myron did. Myron went on to Sneako's Rumble account and he put on a sheet like a Ku Klux, sorry, stop the show, Ku Klux Klansman. And he started making fun of not only black people, but of, again, Auburn Preach. And guys, I will forewarn you that this is pretty terrible. So let me play this clip here and then I'm going to come back.
I didn't realize that when Fresh and Fit put out that live stream and said they were going to nuke our channel, they just ended up nuking their own. I don't know why Myron did this, but he decided to go on Sneako's live stream on Rumble.
Let's see, bro. So you have to wear that too?
Yeah, of course. How am I going to break this down if I'm not in my proper attire as a race?
Bro.
All right, can you move over a little bit?
Okay, I'm moving over.
Fucking chick.
You see out of that, you fucking sand nigga?
But it's okay.
White supremacist sand nigga?
Shut up. Bro, you're the worst of the worst. You eat dogs and you kill people as a black guy. And an Asian.
Yeah, true.
Hold on, quick. Pause right. This nigga right here is funny. He's funny, this nigga. I don't condone this N-word.
Oh.
Shut up, you Albanian fat. Keep running the clip, you chink. No, keep running the clip. Who's that weird that can't speak? Who's that? He black as hell. Bate man. Let's keep going. Holy shit, who's this gay nigga here with the red? What the fuck is going on? What in tarnation fucking pussy shit is that? I know that preach name.
Not respect to minorities. What the fuck? Stop!
What?
I want to get another one.
To me, when you guys are doing all this whole clip that they're trying to show was literally like almost an hour long. Yet you're only showing bits and bits of clips. Now, the reason they show a whole bunch of clips like this is because they were to show it in context and everything. Then it wouldn't seem as though they were racist, but people have a narrative to spin, so they can't show you the things that would actually imply that clearly they're not racist. They're just having fun with the accusations of being racist while being a group of people who have black in them and are mixed with black and by America's society, and standards would be considered on some level black.
There right now. He puts there probably swinging around eating some bananas. Fucking stupid bitch. Preach is crying right now, swinging from a monkey branch,
Bro.
eating a banana, playing some Donkey Kong on an N64 because he's a stupid prick. He's a window licking stupid nigga.
What?
What?
Fat ugly white.
Hey.
Oh, that spin. I like that. I like that.
Video that
we got these niggas running like it's an employment line.
What the
What? Don't do that. I will find you, you fucking stinky looking piece of shit. You go fucking fat right here. I don't like you already.
I don't know how you guys did it, but you guys made a more embarrassing response than H3H3 by like a long mile.
Never ever compare that Myron dude to them fucking Jews, you motherfucker.
Whoa.
Is this a character?
This is not
I was
representative.
born this way, you chick. Keep going, chick. Come on.
No, I don't think they do. So
You damn.
Like, if you hear, don't you hear he's calling the other guy the C word and calling him an N word? There are parts that he calls him the N word, and the other guy an N word, himself an N word. Don't you get it? Obviously. If he was really offending Abba and Preach, then isn't he insulting Sneeko and Zerka and himself? Because he called everybody the N-word. So that's what I mean. Like, you guys try and say that he's specifically calling Preach and Abba the N-word and calling them apes and stuff, but he's doing that to the other people too. So it's all a joke, obviously, but okay.
Right there, high value man. They say more lies than your monkey asses have. What the fuck you niggas doing? Y'all sitting there in that tight ass frame. I'm sitting next to a fucking monkey with dreads for a decade. You niggas
To do now, but say, ooh, you.
same shitty fucking camera for a damn decade. Same shitty road mic right there that looks like a penis forever. You guys have not proved nothing, and you fucking niggas, millionaires, not invested back in the business, get called out by a fucking KKK member out of Tennessee. You motherfuckers are losers. I'm roasting y'all right now. Continue on, Ching.
Yes.
Okay.
Pause. That nigga sound like he got a 39 IQ.
Now, let me take a different take on this. I'm not gonna go on to the whole point where they're ruining their career and they're racist. Abba's already covered that, so I won't talk about that.
I think more so out of this whole situation, it's like, I think you would just want their career to be ruined, so you spin the narrative so then it actually specifically seems like they're racist, basically, where you take clips out specifically in an 11-minute video, but you clearly didn't show all 50 minutes, which would have put the clips in context. To me, watching it, I didn't feel that it was offensive because through it all, they're calling everybody the N-word, and it's all in jest and joke. It's jokes. If it's not a joke, then how come Sneeko didn't seem angry? How come Zerka didn't seem angry? And how come Myron did not seem angry that he referenced himself the N-word too. So, I mean, he's attacking everybody at this point, including himself. So was he racist to himself? Yeah, you're not making any sense.
But I want to talk about us in the black community, especially those of us who allow the Adam 22s, the DJ Vlads, the fresh and cowardly and funky to come into our spaces and get money and then say racist things about us. It's not their fault solely. It's our fault also. You see, because Myron was a nobody before joining up with Funky over there and creating this podcast. And then what really brought them to some level of notoriety was collaborating with a lot of black dating coaches and a lot of black hip hop stars. Now, to be fair, they have covered a large portion of the manosphere, but they've also infiltrated certain aspects of hip.
Have you seen this? It's insane. These AI bots are trading at speeds that no human could ever match.
Hip hop, all right? They've interviewed DJ Academics, they've had Tekashi 69. They've had a lot of connections that brought them into the African American space. Because see, Myron's people, who are the Sudanese, his people haven't helped him do anything. He can't start a blog over in Sudan, not with the haram he commits against Islam every day. They probably would do something really bad to him. And of course, his current or ex job as an immigration officer, that wasn't really cutting it either, right? You see, his infiltration partly into black culture is what's gaining him some level of notoriety, especially when Kevin Samuels was able to come to their podcast and collaborate off of black YouTubers to get them up there because it was playing the black card then. Oh yeah, man, we're two black guys, we're trying to do it. But see, no. You see that? That's this is not a black person. This is a person who hates the black community. And see the reasons why these guys come over and then they talk shit afterwards, right? Like, you guys are wrong.
I think that maybe he has some negative views towards black people, but I don't think specifically that he has quite that much hate. The reason why I say that is because if he had a lot of hate, I don't think he would talk about, like when he talks about race in regards to solutions for black people, he doesn't seem like he wants the worst for black people. And to me, that implies that you don't really hate black people. You may have negative thoughts of black people. You may think black people look like monkeys. You may think that they're animalistic. You have to understand black people's features are not his features. Therefore, if they're not his features, then why is he obligated to think that they are nice features or think anything positive of features that he doesn't have himself? You get what I'm saying? So if he thinks that black people look like apes, what does that do for black people that he thinks that? You know what I mean? It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't really do anything to me. The fact that, the Sudanese people, North Sudanese people, basically committed genocide against black people, that is more concerning, But it doesn't seem like he has that mindset, and that is a good thing that he seems like he's evolved a bit more than his people originally have seemed to be currently. So continue.
Work. You guys are lazy. This is what they do, and part of it can be it could be a little truth to it, because you know what? We don't want to control our own story. We don't want to control our own economics, right? So then you have foreigners who come into your block, and then you let them do it. Now, as I'm not going to really get too much on Fresh, because he is from the Caribbean, and we have had Caribbean people in our community that have done some great things for us. You know, Stokely.
What has Fresh said, though? I don't see Fresh saying anything that is too crazy, really, honestly. So I don't understand why people keep focusing, adding Fresh in it, when Fresh, I haven't seen any quotes from Fresh. Like, you keep showing clips of Myron, but you're not showing any clips of Walter.
Carmichael. You know, we've had Sidney Poitier, people like that, right? This has done great things for us in the black community, in the black struggle. Harry Belafonte. So I'm not going to talk about Caribbeans, and even some of our hip hop artists. Jay-Z is half African American, half Caribbean. Same thing with Notorious Big, things like that. But with Myron, who is Sudanese,
I always thought that was a good thing, actually, that they are Caribbean, because they're criminals, you know. Notorious B.I.G. was a criminal. Thank God he wasn't a product of black Americans. Jay-Z, similar situation, you know, criminal, you know. But yet, we get the blame for criminality when it's, you know, those Caribbean black people make black people look badly. Anyway, continue.
Arabic Sudanese, I would suspect these are the people that we allow to be in the space just as much as just hurting things, because we don't control the narrative. And as blacks, we got to understand that as much as we want to get upset about what people say about us like that and make fun of us, hey, we do it to ourselves. We collaborate, get these people money, but because we don't work together, these other groups come in and they make fun of us while they go and spend all their money on non-black women and white women, and as soon as they get a case, they want to use the black card.
That's weird. What did who they slept with or who they spend money on have to do with anything? You're always obsessed with where another man is putting his dick. Why do you care where he puts his meat? Like, it seems like, again, you seem a bit gayish here, concerned about where someone puts their meat, as if you want it in you or something. Anyway.
This is why, as African Americans and as blacks, look, we got to start working together more so than ever. All right? We need to reinvest into our people, even if we cannot stand it. This is what I'm talking about. It is hard as hell working with blacks, but I will definitely work with blacks before I ever let these racist clowns come out there and make fun of our people, who in many cases fought very hard to make every person that's in the states there, especially of color, able to be there, including Arabic/blacks, including.
What are you talking about, sweetie pie? Arab Americans were not struggling like that when, you know, Martin Luther King was trying to talk about how he had a dream. They were placed with white American people. You guys don't know history. It's so weird. It is very weird how you guys will say, oh, they would be in the color section and all this weird crap. That's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Asian people weren't even put in the same category as black Americans, but white Americans were not put in the same category as black Americans. And yes, Arab Americans were labeled white American back in the day. And they actually, last census, they were put as Caucasian as well. So, I mean, like, you're really making up things here, trying to act like they were originally placed as black people. Arabs were never classified as black people. They've always been classed as Caucasian, white Americans. So, yeah, try again.
People like Fresh, all right? So why are you talking about those monkeys and people like that? Just know that the white people, when they look at you very similar, bro. All right? If you were to
Not true. Actually, a white person commented in this guy's video, O'Shea Duke Jackson's video, specifically saying that he looks like an Arab with a tan. I would say I've shown him to other people who thought he looked Egyptian. For example, he does not look like a black American, nor do I really think he looks East African. I would say he does lean more North African ethnically. Yes, I mean, he can look like he has some black in him, but yeah, he does lean more North African than anything. So no, he would not be treated like a black American. He specifically said he has been racially profiled in the sense of being seen as a terrorist or an Arab American at times. How many times, O'Shea Duke Jackson, have you been racially profiled as a terrorist? Exactly. I don't understand. Why do you want to claim someone else's struggle? You want to be seen as a terrorist? You're so desperate for black people to claim everyone. It looks disgustingly sad.
Commit a crime and they say, hey, this guy's on the run, they're not going to say, oh, the Arabic black looking guy. They're going to say it's a black dude. And guess what? You would get that work like anybody else. But that's our issue. We got to really start to.
You think that when they look at Indians that they say that, oh, we're looking for a black dude? No, sweetie, they don't.
Play ball with our story. Because the hatred that we have for each other, other groups see that. And I'm not saying it's all. And then when they do it, we want to be upset and want to get mad. That's why blacks, we got to start working together. Our men, we got to pull our men up.
Okay, so if he is a black person, in one breath you tried to say he was a black person, then the next breath, if you think that black people can say it, then why can't he say it? Or are you saying that you don't really feel he's black, you just want him to be black in hopes that he can feel what you feel when he says what he says about you? I think that's what you really mean to say there. Because clearly you have shown that you don't feel he's a black person throughout this conversation. Continue. Oh. Well, I guess that's all I have to say here. I don't think that the video specifically on Rumble implied a racist person. I think that people just felt kind of uncomfortable with him saying that because they felt like he wasn't really a black person. But, well, when you pretend with someone that they are a black person, then they tend to think that they have the right to say things that other black people are saying. Then you get your feelings hurt because you feel like he's not really a black person and he's saying all those things about you, and you feel like someone outside of your race is saying it about you. This is why you are talking out of two sides of your face, basically. One second you're saying that you feel uncomfortable with someone outside of your race saying these things about you, then secondarily you say that society sees him as black. So which one is it, sweetie? I think it's really that you just don't see him as black, and that's why you're unhappy with him saying those things about black people, because you don't feel like anyone in the room was really a black person like you. You have a color issue. You've had that for a while. You've had a focus on your skin tone and thinking that, oh, people have to look like me to be black and all that bullshit, basically. That's why, in the Rumble situation, it was including a lot of people who were mixed. Specifically, in the after show, Nick Fuentes was pointing out that everybody on the screen was of color and was mixed race, including himself, except just pearly things. And that's why when Myron put the hood back on with just pearly things, that made me uncomfortable. But, before that, he was doing it around people who were black too, who were mixed with black too. So to me, I don't see the problem. But anyway, that's all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and have a great day. Bye, guys.